I would like to welcome all the participants, mostly who are joining online, and also all the participants gathered here. It's because of the COVID. For the past 3 years, we couldn't gather physically, and this time also, we are kind of slowly opening up to gathering, and kind of tentatively opening up to physically gathering. So this year we have kind of tried to limit to maybe about 100 people gathered here, because I think the COVID is also mild ones going around, and worse than mild COVID, I think there's a bad flu going around. I wish I myself have been a victim for the past 2 weeks. So, but it's very happy that we could all, some could gather virtually, some could gather physically for the 7-day, our annual retreat, Tara retreat. And those of you, I think, who are familiar with our Tara retreat before, you will know what this is about. But those of you who are not familiar with the Tara retreat, I wanted to give you a brief kind of explanation. So, we do the 7-day Tara retreat with a variety of, the few motivations. So one simple motivation is basically it's a, big rimdo. So in our Himalayan countries, Bhutan and many other Himalayan regions, we have this tradition of, doing a big sort of prayer or a practice to avert the obstacles that may come for the next year. So at the end of the year, we usually do a big prayer for, 2 days, 3 days, at an individual house also. And then we do the prayer so that the coming year, the next year we will have no obstacle, no sicknesses, no difficulty. We'll have a blessed, if it's olden times, you can say blessed harvest. In more modern day time, then blessed in whatever your endeavors, health, career, etc. So this is a very popular tradition in Bhutan and Himalayan region. Every individual, they do it. However, from the monastery also we do it because monastery is connected to so many people. Because many people, whenever they have a difficulty, they always contact the monasteries, the monks, the teachers, and they ask for a prayer. And even now also, I think that many of the today's people who are offering the tea, lunch, some are in emergency hospital, some are going through difficulty, and they are, some are able to come here, some are joining virtually, some are offering tea or anything. So just, with so much of hope and aspiration. So that's why the monastery, since we are karmically connected to so many people, nationally, internationally. So every year we feel that when all the monks and participants can gather together and practice the Tara, not just for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, but the whole 7 day, which is the shortest time, 7 days, the minimum time in order to be called a retreat. If you just do for 1 or 2 days, it can be a puja, it can be a trupa, it can be, but it cannot be a retreat. For a retreat, the minimum is 7 days. So our aspirations that within these 7 days of our practice, all those who are able to participate themselves, the best, if not also those who are connected to us, will get some sort of a blessing, some sort of obstacle remover. So that is why we have this tradition of doing the Tara retreat for 7 days every year. Now, those of you who are joining the Tara retreat, what can you expect from this retreat, and what you should expect from this retreat? Firstly, when we do a rimdo in the Himalayan region, we are very familiar with doing puja. Whenever we are sick, we say, oh yes, go to the doctor for the medicine, but then also do the prayer. We do both sides. The reason why we do this is because fundamental of being a Buddhist is belief in the lejumde or the cause and condition, which means that whatever is happening in our life. For example, sicknesses. The previous Tunjung Rinpoche said that when you get sick, there are, the outer reason you are getting sick is because of your physical, the elements, imbalances, or whatever, the liver, kidney, whatever the organs, that is the external reason. The internal reason is because of your, there can be, we say in our religion, some negative spirit, whatever, the spirit or the whatever, that has harming you, internally reasoned. The secret reason is, even if, is your own negative karma, negative mind. For example, because of negative mind or anger, we kill others, we harm others. Negative mind of desire, we consume meat, we kill animals. Because of that, we have a short life. Out of anger, we beat others. That's why in this life and next life, we have physical pain. Out of, the desire, we steal others' property, we, cheat others. Because of that, in this life and next life, no matter how much hard we try, somehow when we are about to be successful, something comes and our wishes don't get fulfilled. Maybe in the past life we have a sexual misconduct. Maybe in this life that means having relationship with others, husband, wife, creating misunderstanding. Because of that, in our life also somehow or other, there always be some problem. There's always some problem, some obstacle coming in our relationships, family relationship, personal relationship, and even in enemies also. Even though you have not done anything to somebody else, but somehow people come and they create obstacles. So now from the spiritual point of view, the secret point of view, we say the main reason we have obstacles in the life, sickness, difficulty, is firstly is our own negative mind. Because of that, we accumulate negative karma. And because of negative karma, then the negative spirit harm us, or the negatives, the suffering, sicknesses come, accidents come, negative people come. All of these are due to so when you go deep down, is due to our own negative mind and negative karma we have accumulated. If you don't have a negative karma at all, for example, even if there's a flu going on or whatever going on, some people have a natural immunity that nothing happens to them. Even if there's a car accident, to some people die, but to some people nothing happened. There's not even a scratch, So the accidents, people, these are called the conditions. And the cause from the Buddhist perspective is all due to legend. So that is why if you're other religion, then that's different. I'm not saying other religion are good or bad, no judgment, but other religion, then they say, everything is a result of a God. A creator has, kind of your destiny. So God has decided that, okay, you will go to Australia, or you will not get visa, you will get diarrhea, you will have a health problem, whatever is a destiny. But our Buddhists, and of course atheists say that there is no God, there is no karma, nothing. So which means that everything is like a luck, everything is like a gambling. So that means that whatever you do, has no consequences. Also, there is no point also. Whether you do it, or whatever you do or don't do, doesn't produce any result. So that is why from a Buddhist perspective, our belief or understanding is that whatever is happening in our life is due to our own positive actions of body, speech and mind, or negative actions of body, speech and mind, which is bringing us this obstacle, difficulty, mental difficulty, physical difficulty. Our wishes not getting fulfilled is due to the karma. So now if that is the case, then what do we have to do? So if it's a negative karma, Buddha said there's only two options. One option is, because whatever negative karma we have done, we experience it, we go through the suffering and difficulty, then it is over. Or we do purification before the suffering has resulted. For example, before the seed, that poison seed has become a tree, you can uproot it, you can throw it out or put some hot water or whatever, and so you can do that. That is called purification, basically. So for example, when we do morning in the prostration also is a purification. Every time we touch our forehead, we say that whatever we think, I am prostrating to Shizin Dharma and Buddhas, whatever I have done from my body, such as killing others, stealing others, harming others, be purified. when we touch our throat, whatever I have done from my speech, like a lying, hurtful words causing division, be purified. When we touch our heart, whatever negative mind thoughts I might have had, like a hatred, anger, jealousy, may they be purified, so that the mental sufferings that I am going through, may they be purified. So even the prostration itself is a purification practice too. That's why I remember that when I was younger, at those times, there was one master. He was a kind of Chuptop, which means like a, realized yogi. He had a very strange method of curing people, So sometimes, like when a sick person comes, they will just lie down and he will, climb on them, and then give a massage. And older people, I think they have a big pain, I think they even let out the air also sometime, I remember, And then he was called Chuptop, but then many people do get cured. And whenever a person, anyway, that's, his own kind of, I remember sometime what he used to say people is, oh, your sicknesses, you need to do 100,000 prostration, 100,000 chamdo, the Sangye Chodam, Sogye Chodam, Lama La Gyapsucho, you do 100,000 times. And people who do that, without any other intervention, they get cured, they recover because they have purified the karma. So that is why the Rimdo also, whether we are doing it at home or, the Dharma Yundo that we are doing. So in a one way, from our body, for example, during the retreat, from our physically, we are doing prostrations. From our speech, we are reciting the 21 Gitara. Either you can recite the Dharma Sachi 21 Tara praises and keep account. Please keep account during this retreat. So that at the end of the retreat, we will ask you how much Tara, 21 Tara you have finished. Or if you are not, if you alternatively, you can recite Om Taritu Taritu Resoa and keep account. And then at the end of 7 days, we will, ask you for the number, and then we will do a dedication. So anyway, the speech, we are reciting the Tara. The mind also, slowly, when we will come to know also, we will be teaching during the Tara retreat what we have to think, how to generate compassion, how to generate visualization, the Tara offering, what does offering mean? When you are in your mind is engaged in these things, that is the purification of the mind. So when you do this, for example, this Tara practice, you are, your body is not engaged, body, speech, mind is not engaged in negative actions of body, speech, and mind, rather engaged in the positive, the virtuous activity. So because of that, purification also is, accomplished. Accumulation of merit is also accomplished. So merit is also important because the Buddha said that, for example, if you look at your face, the fact that you are tall, fact that you have a cheekbone like this, eye color like this, fact that you are born in this country, you are born to so and so parent, and then even you had and you could meet so and so as your wife, your husband, and whatever situation you are going through, all the blessings you have, if there is always a reason behind it, nothing is accident. So all the good things that happen to you, there is a merit behind it. For example, you have the beautiful eyes because maybe in your past life, whenever you saw others without hatred. You have a beautiful voice because you always spoke the truth. Whatever you say is always respected because in your past and present life, you always speak the truth. You do not lie. You always have a wonderful relationship because you never cause division in others, misunderstanding in others. You always had the forbearance, because of discipline in the past life, this life you are born with a very beautiful form, beautiful feature. So there is every blessing you have also, there is always a cause behind it. For example, long life, if you want long life, you have to save life. We should reduce the consumption of meat, and anything that harms others. So that is one of the main reasons for longevity. If you want wealth, you have to be generous too, you have to have a generosity. If you want a lot of friends, we need to control our anger and have a greater form of tolerance and understanding. So there is it is said that if Buddha was here, Buddha can tell you for each and every feature you have, You are born to this parent because of this karma. You have a, this blessing. You are intelligent because you did this. So Buddha is able to, if there is a fully enlightened Buddha, Buddha is able to tell in a detail each and every, the reason for everything. Like it said that if a Buddha looks at a peacock's feather, for each of the line and the color, Buddha knows the cause behind it. Why this color is there, what karma. But we cannot, only the Buddha can know, but we generally know what Buddha has taught. So that is why during the Rimdo, the accumulation of merit is there. Now, and what is one more kind of special thing about the Tara practice is that this is not only the benefit of joining the Tara retreat and doing the Tara retreat is not only the purification and accumulation of merit, but when you are able to understand the Dharma, understand the practices, as you do the Tara practices, there will also be a transformation of the mind, taming the mind, right? And that taming of the mind is something that only you can do it. For example, you can invite hundreds of monks and offer them money, tea, and ask them to do a Tara prayer for you. That will give you blessing, that will give you purification to some extent for sure. But no matter, even if hundreds of thousands of people are praying for you, they can never change your mind. Your mind is something that only you can change. So that's why people who do Tara retreat, many times in the past, whether even if they do 7-day retreat, many people told me that after they do the retreat, their wish got fulfilled, they got some scholarship, or their health got cured, they are now much better. So, but yes, I think these things are, of course there because due to the law of the karma. However, the blessing of the outer blessings are much more easy to come, Blessings of, for example, blessing if you want to recover your health, you do the Tara practice, plus of course take medicine, all the other conditions too, why not, Just the seed is not enough, you need the water, the manure, the sun too. You can't just put the flower seed and say, okay, now bloom, So of course you have to take other things to take care of your health, but together with, the practice or Tara or accumulation of merit. But, so the blessings of the outer blessings are something that is in a way much more easier. The more kind of the difficulty practice is actually taming your mind. For example, let's say that due to Tara's blessing, let's say whatever you wish, whatever it's that you wish or obstacle that you want to be free of, you are freed. But does that mean that throughout life we will be happy, we will be content? No, it does not mean like that, because that will depend on our own mind. As long as our mind doesn't have a sense of contentment, even if one wish is fulfilled, after some time it will be like, oh, I wish fulfilled, and now I am in this country, or I got this promotion, I have this relationship, I have this house, but is that it? But I feel something lacking in my life. Maybe I need something more. And when you want something more, wherever there's a want, there's always a fear of not getting it. When you have a fear or expectation of something, the fear or the disappointment is always there. Wherever there's expectation, disappointment or the fear, is always behind. So then, this will never end. So there is no kind of the taming of the mind. There's no, until we tame the mind, the external obstacles never end. So that's why the Tara retreat is also about taming the mind. And basically all the Buddhist practices, whatever you do, whether it is any practice you do, Dhamma Tara, Guru Padma Sambhava, whatever you do, basically it comes down to purifying the negative karma, accumulating the merit, and taming the mind. So comes to these three. Now why do we choose the Tara, in Tara particularly Tara practice? Because all the Buddhas, before they became Buddha, they had aspiration, they had something that was their main focus. Like the medicine Buddha's focus was that when I become a Buddha, may I be able to heal all the people's sicknesses, And like the Amitabha Buddha's Buddha Sangjaya Brahman's aspiration was that when I become a Buddha, may I be able to give long life and reborn in the Tewachingi Shinkam, when they die, Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. That was his aspiration. And our Lokiteshvara aspiration, so different. So Tara's aspiration was that, when it is said that when the many eons ago, before she became enlightened, she was a princess, and she invited Buddha and 500 enlightened monks for many months, and then offered them, I think, the lunch and food, everything, served them for the summer retreat. And then at the end, when they asked time for dedication, so then the congregation did a more, or the dedication, saying that in the future, may you become a Buddha, and may you also always be born as a man in the future. So that time the Tara took a very kind of radical, or the different request. She said that she wished that she will rather request that she wants to be born as a female in all her life, and even when she get enlightened, she wants to be born as a female, because she said that enlightenment is something to do with the mind, it's nothing to do with the body. Guru Rinpoche or Chizin Druma, they equally enlightened. Guru Rinpoche's mustache doesn't make him Buddha. It is his enlightenment. Enlightenment means enlighten. The word itself, enlighten, means understand. So when you've completely understood everything, completely understood your nature of the mind, especially, you are enlightened. If you do not understand your own nature of the mind, how your mind works, what is your mind, even doesn't matter whether, even if you look like a Buddha, you are glowing from the all side, maybe it just maybe it doesn't really make you a Buddha. So that's why Tara said that enlightenment is nothing to do with the male or female or the body. It has to do with whether our mind understands or doesn't understand. That is why I want to become a Buddha in the future as an inspiration to all the females, that even everybody without any gender can become enlightened. So that is why, that is one aspect, the part of the Tara, one part of the story of the Tara. And then second is that when she was getting enlightened on the path, the practicing to get enlightened, because enlightenment takes many lifetime. So when she realized that people not only want enlightenment, but they also have many difficulties in their life. For example, some have a going difficulty of poverty. Some are very poor, they have nothing to feed their family, they have financial difficulty. Some have great sicknesses, some are being poisoned, some are worried about being put in the prison, they are facing law difficulty. Some have the mental difficulty. So if someone is for example, if there's someone in front of you who is very sick or who is very hungry, and if you tell them that, oh, I will give you teaching, tomorrow, please come. That person is about to die of hunger and asking you for food, but we are saying, oh, I'll give you teaching tomorrow, please come for initiation. That person is not interested, because that doesn't matter. Enlightenment is the last thing on their mind. The most important to that person right now is that my hunger is satisfied, that I have a cloth to wear. So Chizin Dharma, realized that if she wished to elevate the sentient being suffering, it is not only the ultimate, the enlightenment, but even the day-to-days, the suffering she has to elevate. That's why she made a promise that because of all her, all her practices, for example, Chizin Dharma did a retreat, or Chizin Dharma gave a donation and gave a generosity. She did a meditation. Only aspiration she made was that when I become enlightened, by hearing my name, through my practice, may I be able to protect them from 8 kinds of fear. Fear of the ghost, fear of the prison, fear of thing, and may I be able to fulfill all their, not only enlightenment, but even their day-to-day wishes. If they want a son, may I be able to give them a son through my blessing. If they want a daughter, if they want a wealth, if they want to be cured. That's why in the 21 Taragi, that the benefit nalu Thamulaguna, it says that those who wish for a son will get son. If you do the Taragi practice 2-3 times, which means that those who wish for a son will get son, those who wish for daughter, wealth, free from the prison, all of them poison, may they be purified. So that is why the Tara has become, the very popular in the, not only in the Himalayan region, even in the India, even in the Nalanda, and also the Ajanta Ellora cave, also you can see Taragi practice. Even the Indian the masters also, they, for example, like Nagarjuna, Gumballudrup's main practice was Tara. And I think there's a few other masters who are main practice for Atisha also. George Atisha could speak to Tara like a human to human, So it was their main practice. Also, the Tara is the Buddha of activity. So those who practice the Tara, their activity also flourishes. Whether you're a lay person or a spiritual master, if you want to do something beneficial, your activity has to flourish. So Tara was also known as the Buddha of activity. So that's why Tara is a very popular. And I think, if you just nowadays, everything is in the Google. If you just look up, in the past, in the present, there are many stories of how Tara has protected, people from, people from danger, sicknesses, in the past also, in the present, there are some, the many amazing stories. So these are also coming back to the teaching of the Buddhist teaching is, purify the negative karma, accumulate merit, and tame your mind. So even the Tara practice is also, Tara's blessing is also, connected to the teaching of the karma and taming your mind. Why is Tara able to bless? Because she accumulated so much of purification and the accumulation of merit and the wisdom of the mind. That's why she became like a wish fulfilling, like a sun, But however, it is not enough that Tara is there. We also have to accumulate the merit to receive the blessing. For example, even if there's a sun outside, even if there's the gold being thrown outside, if you don't step out of your bedroom, open your curtain, sun will never come in. Sun will not be able to come in. So that's why even if there's oxygen in the water, only fish can, they use it. We can't use it. So even if the blessing is there, we have to also create the karma to receive the blessing, so that our karma and the Tara's karma, aspiration and blessing, when these two are joined, then the purification, wish fulfillment comes. So that's why even the Tara practice is also one of the biggest rimdo, or the prayer that we can do. And however, I think as mentioned earlier, the Tara practice is not just our rimdo, not just about creating, purifying obstacles, getting fulfilled wishes, but Tara is also about the meditation. Tara is also about recognizing the nature of your mind. So that's why every day we will be giving slowly teaching. So from your part, I think what you have to, for these 7 days, your commitment is that, as you have known, this we are, what in English they say retreat. In our Cheke Himalayan language is called Tsam, So Tsam means a boundary. So boundary means something that you will not cross, right? Which means that, if you want to receive the Tara's blessing and for this retreat to be successful, we have to create a boundary. So the boundary is that, boundary means, what is the difference? Boundary is boundary between how we usually live our life, how we speak, how we think, and how we think, behave, and act for the 7 days. Because if we keep doing the same thing, right, every day, how we live our life, and then we just, whatever we are doing in the Thimphu or other country, if you just move it to here, then, for example, if you're alcoholic, drinking alcohol in London, you are still alcoholic. If you drink alcohol in Kabisa, you are still alcoholic, your liver will fail. And it doesn't make a difference at all. Just because you are now Kabisa, your alcohol has become, Tutsi, it's a blessing. Now your liver will know. It's the same thing, you have to create a boundary. It's not about the London or Kabisa or, Thimphu or Kabisa, but it's about a boundary that you have to set. So the boundary that we have to set is, physically speaking, for during this retreat, for the 7 days, we will, from our body, speech, and the mind, from our body, we will not kill, And as an extension of that, during Tara's retreat, we don't eat meat or egg, any food that has directly harmed other sentient being. And during the Tara retreat, we will not be, stealing, the Sokcheva, Majimba Limba, 5 precepts, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and alcohol, So alcohol in the Buddhism is very much recommended, not to avoid. It's avoid because alcohol itself directly doesn't harm anybody. It's true. Directly doesn't harm immediately. But then in the long, what happens is that as a consequence of alcohol, you will forget even your name, forget about the Tara, for all your other precepts also you'll be forgotten. So there's a saying that there was a monk, who was, I think, and then somebody asked, a lady asked him, either you have to marry me or kill the goat or drink the alcohol, Then the monk said, oh, I think the alcohol is the least harmful. So he drank the alcohol, then he forgot everything. He got married also, he killed the goat and he ate the meat also, So once you drink alcohol, you lose all sense of smartness, all judgment. It doesn't matter whether you are learned or whatever, you lose every sense of right and wrong, what to do, what not to do, especially once you're addicted. So then, I think you will lose all freedom, to the alcohol. So that is why alcohol is something that is very much not recommended, especially during the 7 days of retreat. So if you're able to do that, then you have created a boundary between how you live your life normally and how you live your now. And similarly from the speech also during the Tara, and from the mind also, the most important, the boundary of the retreat or the sum of the Tara retreat is that usually, the morning when we get up, all of us, I'm not judging others, I'm saying all of us, when we get up in the morning, we get up with the I am not happy, or I didn't sleep well, I had a bad dream. I think very few of us will get up in the morning and first thing say to our family member, oh, did you have a good sleep, So I think most of us will say that first thing we'll get up and say, I had a bad dream, I want to tell you what a bad day I had or what bad night I had, right? So our every, that shows that within all of us, the importance of I is very strong there, Out of mouth we say equality, this equality, that equality, but deep inside our heart, we know that we are the most important person, That's why, yes, I think when people fall in love, also they say, yes, for you, I will, bring down the stars or whatever, Yesterday I was watching one, there was a nice Bhutanese YouTube song. I don't know what is it. It said that, when you are angry, when your situation change, the face that used to appear like a goddess will look like a demoness, when your perspective change, So then that's because when someone is not fulfilling my wishes, my thing, then I get angry. My opinion is respected. We forget about Bodhisattva and compassion saying, for you I sacrifice everything. Forget about that. Right now, let's talk whether we can treat everybody as equally. For example, when you see other person, during this retreat, when you see another person, we have to see behind their external appearance. For example, where they are from, whether they are Bhutanese, not Bhutanese, or if they are Bhutanese from this part, that part, whether they are rich or poor or high status, low status, all we have to see is that they are a sentient being like us, starting from the monks, lay people, everybody are sentient animals, everybody wants happiness, every sentient being doesn't want pain and suffering. So that is the equality. When you talk of equality, first we have to recognize that. Without recognizing that, then fighting for this equality, that equality, there's no like an end to it, right? For example, you might say that, okay, it's very unequal. He's staying on the stage, we are staying down, But if you all stage up, no one will fit here also, And I was telling also the monks also, they are too congested, we have to move down, we might get flu, So, then again they'll be unequal because, this external inequalities, if you have to, I'm not saying they are bad, but all of these deep inside comes from the inner inequality. So that's why during this retreat, at least for the 7 days, when we start the retreat, we have to think that, oh, today I'm here to do 7-day retreat. I'm doing it because I want to purify the negative karma, accumulate merit, tame my mind, not only for myself, but for all the sentient beings including my family, my father, mother, who wants happiness, who doesn't want suffering. For all of them, I'm doing it. So moment you have that aspiration, even if it's right now you can't do anything to help other sentient beings, but if you just have the aspiration, that immediately will calm you down. Because, for example, even if you're having argument, we are having argument because my opinion and what I want is more important than what you want and what you think. So immediately, as soon as you think others as equal, others wish to be happy, wish to avoid suffering, equal, you will at least, you may not agree, but you will at least respect the other's opinion. You won't get upset so much. So that's why during this retreat, that motivation, the selfless motivation we have to generate, and from that selfless motivation, anger will come down, jealousy will come down. Why do we get jealous? It's not because we love other people so much that we are jealous of them. We love ourselves so much that we don't like other people are doing better than us. So all other these will, the negative emotions will subside when you have a little bit of, the sense of equality. So these are from the mind, sense of equality towards all sentient beings, from the speech and from the action that Shikisha doesn't know, the 5 precepts. If we are able to keep this, then we are definitely in the thumb, that we are starting the boundary between how we live our day-to-day life and how we live during the retreat. Then I think we will see some, transformation, some understanding. So I think for this much introduction for now, and then I think in the afternoon session, we will talk a little bit more about the 3 types of retreat: number-based retreat, time-based retreat, and the sign-based retreat. And then we'll also talk about the breathing meditation, which we'll do after lunch.